100%.
But yeah, I mean, him versus what's his name here? Askren is an interesting one because Askren's got this face you just want to see punched so hard, and I think Robbie can do it. You know what I mean?
No, but I mean, Askren's a safe fighter. His fights, you're probably gonna end up hating him. He's a wrestler that just likes to, keep control. I mean, They say that he's a dynamic striker. They say that, but we never seen him against
real talent,
UFC caliber fighters.
Well, that's why I think this Robbie Lawler fight's a good. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that's going to be actually a good test for him. But isn't he still undefeated?
Who?
I'm pretty sure
he's got a. Doesn't he have a no contest on his thing? It's not a clean record, but it is undefeated.
And so, but he's been talking trash for years. Dana White hates him. I'm sure there's some background story there. He always said he was better than GSP. And, he's just, like I said, he's got this face you just want to punch. I mean, I don't know why. Even if he was a nice guy, I'd still want to punch that face. But he's not a nice guy. He's a trash talking. He's a scumbag in his own right. He's the kind of trash talker that he's like a Chael Sonnen, Conor McGregor mix, but like the worst side of both of them, I think. And
I don't hate him as much as you do.
Yeah, man, that's a little strong. I don't hate him that much.
I don't even really hate him, to be honest.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him.
I just think he's got too much
style. Is like he wants you to hate him.
How's the female division doing over there? UFC. I haven't really kept up. Like, how are they? Is it still? Do they still?
Well,
is it still?
Do you guys want to tell us about? Do you guys want to tell us about this this awesome fight that happened the other day? I mean, I don't know what you guys thought. I thought it was a pretty good fight.
Yeah, they had they opened up a new division. This was the 125 class, 125 pound class for the women's, and it was Valentina Shevchenko, and then Joanna Jędrzejczyk or something. They both are like really hard names to pronounce, but they're both very, very talented fighters. And you just seen Valentina do what Valentina does, and she just took it to Joanna and outclassed her in every possible part that they were involved in the fight.
Now this wasn't the same division that Nico Montano won, right? She won the tough, and then this was that belt.
But this was like the official UFC first time it's ever been in the UFC, not the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, because she's never defended it. Nico, they stripped her, right?
Yeah.
Because she couldn't make weight either.
Yeah, she kept not making weight.
But now the cool thing about this is that Joanna and Valentina both have faced each other before in kickboxing and Muay Thai, and each time Valentina whipped her ass. Now this fight wasn't a straight up beatdown, but
she still
Valentina did. Yeah, Valentina outclassed her because she's just a better striker. And,
and I always thought that Joanna was one of the best female strikers I've ever seen. I thought she was comparable to many of the male strikers, just in the sense of her accuracy, the delivery of her punches were always pinpoint, right in the right spots. I mean, if you watch a lot of the fights that she's put on, even before she got UFC famous, she turned pretty girls ugly real quick. And the beginning and after of these fights with her was always like, you're like, wow, that girl did that, holy shit. And she didn't touch Valentina. I mean, Valentina looked the same quickness though. Coming out. What's that?
Yeah,
she got the quickness, but Valentina is way quicker. That's the problem. Like where she excels, Valentina's better.
And Valentina got screwed over Amanda Nunes, in my opinion. I don't know screwed, but it was unfair. I thought that she had that.
That's the fight she wants.
Yep.
Yeah, because
she'll be two-time champ too, just like DC, right?
I don't know. I think Amanda Nunes might come back. Who knows?
I saw Amanda Nunes is booked with or going to be booked with
Cyborg.
Yeah, the Cyborg.
Chris Cyborg.
No, her husband. Nunes is going against Denthead.
Yeah. The other Cyborg, right?
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Hey,
Jason, you ever see that?
Yeah.
You ever see that?
It's Chris.
I'm going to send you a picture here. So Cyborg, you've heard of Cyborg, right? I think we watched her fight. Chris Cyborg.
Is she like legally changed her name, or is that just her moniker?
Yeah. Well, no, it's her. So her husband, her ex-husband, his name was his last name was Cyborg. I don't know if that was a legit last name, to be honest. He's from Brazil, but she got her name from her husband. He's a fighter as well. No, his name was Evangelista Santos, and his nickname was Cyborg.
Okay.
She's Christiana Cyborg, whatever, and so she's gone by Cyborg.
She's the China of UFC.
And this guy, this is actually another good transition here real quick, because his last fight, he got kneed in the face by MVP, Michael Venom Page, with a knee that was probably the most disgusting thing you've ever seen, and it hit him so hard in the forehead that it crushed his forehead in like a cracked egg, and it was disgusting. And the sound was disgusting. I mean, it was awesome too, just from a knockout perspective. And the guy did a Pokemon. He rolled a Pokemon ball in the ring right afterwards. Like, he didn't realize how bad he hurt the guy, and he's over here dancing in the ring and shit.
Oh, he realized how bad he hurt him. You can't hit somebody that hard and not realize it.
Jason, you're on your computer, right? I'm gonna send you a link here, so you can just see the damage. I'm gonna just send it to you in Facebook or something here. Do you know
Vanderlei Silva?
Oh yeah,
because that's Vanderlei Silva in a dress.
Well, that's what got Dana White in trouble. Didn't he say that about Cyborg?
Yeah.
He had to walk that one back.
Oh
no, she's a great fighter. She's a great person. But so, not to go too far off the weeds here, but MVP is going to be fighting Paul Daly, which is, I know that's not UFC, it's Bellator, but that's another one.
He was UFC. Do you remember when Paul Daly was in UFC?
I do, and he punched Josh Koscheck. Josh Koscheck, another punchable face, man. I'm with Paul Daly on that one. Fuck you, Koscheck. Well,
if you go back and watch, it's because Josh Koscheck was repeatedly cheating.
Yeah, he was grabbing the fence and grabbing his shorts, right?
Yeah, he was repeatedly cheating, and then Paul Daly is like, fuck it.
Yeah, God, I hated Koscheck so bad.
Bell rang, and he rung his fucking bell.
It was just a bad decision, but it was a good decision, too. Yeah. I mean, it was like, man, I'm sure afterwards he was like, yeah, he deserved that shit.
Koscheck wasn't that bad of a fighter, though.
No, he's a good fighter, but man, remember when GSP made his face look weird? I love that too.
It was a good one.
It was fun. So yeah, Jason, do you see that dent?
Yeah, that's freaking amazing.
He crushed that guy's face.
It's crazy.
The knockout was just pristine. It was so good. And yeah, you don't see that guy fight too much. They tried to hype this fight up between him and Paul Daly, another knockout artist kind of guy, just has like, what do they call him, Semtex for his hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this fight's been kind of hyped up for a while, and I think Paul Daly lost. It was supposed to be, they were setting up this fight, and then Paul Daly lost a fight, I believe. And it still was like, I still want to fight MVP after. Like, he was still calling shots after, if I remember correctly. But I think that'll be a good fight. I'm actually interested in that one. So we have Felder, your boy Felder, going against James Vick.
Yeah.
That was scratched from January 26th, but that's going to be happening. I like Vic too, but what do you think on that one?
Buddy's got Vic all the way. He's not going to take Whoville.
I don't know, because if you watch Felder versus Mike Perry, man, Felder's got heart.
He does have heart,
and heart goes a long way. And
Vic's got the height and the reach on him now.
And Vic just came off of a devastating loss.
Yes, he
did. To Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, that was
both
sick.
These guys need a win. Both these guys need a win. I'm
calling a draw.
I'm going to say it's going to go to decision, probably. It's going to go to decision, and I think Vic probably will win by decision.
Yeah, I think that too. I think Vic hopefully fixed his striking, and he's going to use that jab and just jab the shit out of him and walk him right out of the cage.
I'm calling this one going to be this one's going to be a draw. Winner Adelaide Bird.
I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I got a decision, but I could also, this is me on the fence. I could see Felder finishing it, but I think it's going to be more or less him trying to get in and Vic not letting him in and just outstriking him.
And so there's another fight that was on this card that, two more. One, Dominic Cruz looks like he's out. He was supposed to be fighting Lineker, and man, just the story of that guy's life, just constantly injured and could be the best.
It was a weird matchup for him anyway.
Just can't seem to keep himself healthy.
That injury was awfully convenient.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. It was a weird matchup for him. Like John Lineker, like what's that do for him?
Nothing.
John Lineker's ranked 6.
But is Cruz still in it to win it, or is he just in it to get paid? Because he's doing fine commentating, you know.
Nah, Cruz definitely still's got the hunger to win. He wants to fight, championship, if not right next to it.
And he deserves it.
He's what, number 2?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only loss he's had since was what's his face, Tattoo Man,
Cody Garbrandt.
So aside from prior to that, what was his last loss?
TJ Dillashaw.
Oh, that's right. Man, I like TJ Dillashaw.
Well, he didn't lose to him. He actually beat TJ Dillashaw, but I have to. I want to rewatch that match, but I gave it to TJ Dillashaw that night.
Yeah, but Buddy was against the judges on that one and said TJ won when he really didn't. Dominic beat his ass.
Dominic did beat him on that night?
It was such a good fight. It was technical.
I gotta pull this up.
I'm gonna rewatch it.
No, that was. I remember that being an awesome fight. TJ's put on. He won me over in that fight because I didn't know. I watched him on The Ultimate Fighter. I wasn't really invested in him, but then after that, I was like, man, this guy's good. And then he obviously had his run. And let's see, was that when he lost?
Don't get too attached to him because he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose to Henry Cejudo coming out soon.
Really, you really think he's gonna lose to Henry Cejudo?
He's putting that guy down. He's putting Cejudo down. Cejudo's way big on his head. I think if you're gonna to beat the best fighter ever, you have to put on a decisive performance. I don't think that fight against Mighty Mouse was decisive by any means at all. I think Mighty Mouse should have taken that fight, not just because he's the champion, but Cejudo did nothing to prove that he was the champion in that fight. And he got beat so badly in the prior fight that was just a gimme. And I could see it going both ways.
I don't think Mighty Mouse wanted to win that fight.
I could see it going both ways, but at the same time, that guy won against the number one fighter in the history of UFC in all fights, in my opinion, and called out another division champion instead of saying that this guy deserves a rematch. I have no respect for someone like that. No respect. He can go fuck himself.
Well, he knew he was gone.
Doesn't matter.
At that point. You can't.
It doesn't matter. You say, hey, look, this is the best fighter ever, and props to you. If you want it, let's do it again. That's what you say. And then the UFC comes along and says, no, he's gone. You fight Henry Cejudo or whoever else. You fight this other guy. But TJ Dillashaw.
Dana White, though? Trying to cure up.
I know, it's Dana White. So Dana White's the one who's getting Mighty Mouse out of there. Dana White's the one who's like, we don't want this guy, which is crazy to me. It's just crazy to me.
You don't want the whole division. The whole division's going to leave.
I know. It's just stupid. Don't create it. And then meanwhile, they're creating all these different women's divisions. 145. What the fuck?
What's the heaviest women's weight division?
145.
They have like a Battle Cow division.
Battle Cow division.
Oh man, Nia Jax. I can see Nia Jax coming out.
That'd be great. But the highest weight division now is 145, and Chris Cyborg Santos, she has dominated that division.
She still struggles to make weight.
There's only 3 girls in that division, though. Dominate the division. I mean, there's nobody.
Well, I mean, even before it was UFC, in Invicta and everywhere else she's fought since about 2003, she has dominated.
There's no doubt.
And the big fight.
There's no doubt in my mind that she is the number one. I've always said this about her. She is the woman to beat forever. And until someone cleanly beats the shit out of her, which I don't think will ever happen, I think she'll retire with a pretty clear conscience there. She's the by far. Yeah. She's the Emelianenko of the women's division. Remember when she?
I remember when they were going to take Ronda out.
I thought she was going to destroy Ronda, and I was kind of a Ronda fan for a while. But Jason, you remember when we were watching Ronda fight, and I was like, I started changing my mind on Ronda. I was like, she sucks. I don't know. Something happened, and then she did suck, and she proved it. She proved she sucked. But
did you guys hear that they were trying to get Cyborg?
Who's trying to get Cyborg?
WWE.
No.
Yeah.
When you start looking at it really from a technical perspective, though, Jason, like she was so ahead of her time in that division. She was fighting most of the people she fought. They hyped up to make it seem like these real good fights, but most of the people she fought were subpar opponents, and she was a Olympic level fighter, judo fighter. So she had skill set that far outclassed these people. So yes, she did beat the shit out of people, but like if I trained in a specific thing and for all my life and then came along and fought, like look at CM Punk. Okay, great example here. CM Punk could beat the shit out of a lot of us, but couldn't stand a chance against people who have been training all their lives for it. And so
hell motherfucking
come see me in Baltimore.
Hell no. CM Punk ain't got a fucking chance in hell to beat anybody.
You know what I'm talking about.
I've been training jiu-jitsu since 2008. That guy, get it. I choke his ass out in a heart fucking beating, and I'm fat and out of shape.
Jason likes CM Punk. I was trying to throw some perspective.
I don't really like CM Punk. I just think I think he's good for WWE. He's got a good, he's good at cutting promos.
I'll suplex his bitch ass.
I don't mind that he tried, and I don't mind that he got in. I don't think Dana should have let him in to the UFC. I think that degraded.
No, he's too
I think
old.
It degraded.
Even if he had the skill, he would. You can't break into something when you're like 40 years old.
It's kind of like these these WWE Saudi cards that they did, and then even UFC I think has done a couple, like where Saudi Arabia paid an enormous amount of money for this Royal Rumble, the greatest Royal Rumble, and they did another card recently.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know,
like $300
women aren't allowed, and
no.
you know, they have this very specific rule set and everything. It's just like, you know, the fans start realizing you're only doing this for the money. Like it changes things from a viewer's perspective when you know there's really no heart behind it. It's just money, and that's what they're doing. And
agreed.
So
you'll never see Sami Zayn on a Saudi card.
Nope, I don't think they would let him. Right? I think he denied the ability to go.
Of course, he's Syrian.
Yeah, I think he was gonna go or so. He said he would go. Maybe he said he wouldn't go, but they weren't gonna let him anyways or something.
Right. He's the only WWE guy that speaks fluent Arabic, and they're not letting him in because he's has Syrian blood.
But see, man, 15 years ago that would have been a friggin' gimmick, and they would have run that shit, and he would have been the top heel with a friggin' flag and everything.
Get his head cut off. Are you talking about him actually going in the country? Or?
I'm talking about him.
Both.
Well, they would have sent him with the proper.
Oh, him being. Oh, I get you.
I'm saying, like, you know, man, Sergeant Slaughter went over there to Russia. He fought in Russia, and they wanted to murder him for real, and they could have, but they sent him with the proper detail. Same as Nikolai Volkov coming here, Iron Sheik. I mean, there's crazy people in America too, and those people made it fine. You know,
that guy is hilarious.
Iron Sheik is a nut. Have you guys ever listen to him in his pod? He does podcasting, or he did Howard Stern for a while, and he jumps on some of these podcasts. And Iron Sheik changes. If you hear him talk now, it completely throws off your image of this guy if you haven't ever heard him.
He is insane. He is batshit insane.
Yeah, he gets hammered.
I've seen a couple YouTube videos, but I haven't heard any podcasts with this guy. I know.
Look at his Twitter, or if his Twitter's even still up, they probably took it down.
Well, funny you mentioned that. Our wrestling thing, the backyard wrestling thing we did was called the WVF, and the reason it was called WVF was because of Virgil, the wrestler, World Virgil Federation, and he was like the most glorified jobber of our day. So it was a joke to us, right? And that's why he
was a bona fide slave, dude.
Our belt.
He was a bona fide slave.
We took a weight belt, like a back, one of those black weightlifting belts, and my brother took a cutout of Virgil's face, glued it to the front of this belt, and that was our championship belt. It was the Virgil Federation Championship. And so, but you don't know nothing about, I mean, when you're a kid, especially back in the day before the internet and stuff, you don't know nothing about these guys. Well, now you can go watch, videos, like on YouTube, there's clips and stuff of all these people backstage before WrestleMania 3 and whatever, right? And there's like this one video of WCW, one of their big pay-per-views, and backstage you have Hawk from at the time the Road Warriors, eventually the Legion of Doom, and he is one of the most obnoxious fucking people ever in real life.
Because he was drunk. He was drunk.
He was on a lot of drugs, but he was also just like super. They were all doing coke right before the show, coming out, literally. Lex Luger, Sting, all of these guys, and it's on video. You could go YouTube it right now. And like when you're a kid, you're looking at these guys, they're larger than life, and then you go back and you're like, wow, these people making $300 a week, traveling across the country. They're really, it's like a real hard life, but they're not larger than life. They're just human beings, and they have a real tough time, and this is how they get by. And some of them are super annoying, just like at your job. There's people you hate, people you love. Same thing goes there, except for these guys are changing in the same locker room. And, man, I don't even know where I was going with all that, but what was I talking about?
I don't even remember.
Before I talked about Hulk, I was talking about somebody. Man, I lose my mind.
Virgil.
Oh, thank you. Keep me on track. Okay, so Virgil, right? Virgil and Iron Sheik. Somebody, I'm fairly confident it's somebody and not them, but somebody controls their Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts, and they are the funniest things you can see. Now, buddy, you're big on Instagram. Have you seen either one of these?
No. My main focus is MMA. Okay. I can't really get into WWE.
Virgil does a lot of self-deprecating.
I do know who Virgil is.
And he'll post pictures of himself sitting there at an arena, like nowadays, literally like 2 weeks ago, sitting at a table with a sign that says Virgil and the $1 Million Man, but the $1 Million Man ain't there, right? And no one is at his table, and everyone's at the other tables. And that he posts these pictures of himself on his own Facebook and his own Twitter and his own Instagram. Like,
I might have seen one or two because that sounds familiar.
It's so hilarious.
He just also grabbed me from behind.
He's also batshit crazy. I mean, he talks about going to one of these restaurants. I can't remember what it is, but like constantly, like, I'm going to get the meatballs today, motherfucker. And he's just such a weird dude. And I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And it happened the same time as the Iron Sheik. Either they're hilarious people,
and you guys idolize them,
or somebody else is helping them out. And I asked Todd if it's real, because he's met both of these guys, and he said it's real, but I don't know. I still don't know. I mean, I can't imagine Virgil has the time to be posting on Instagram all day long. He's like a 70-year-old man. Like, I don't know.
And then when you have the most time?
Well, the guy's touring across the country still, so I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, can I guys get you guys' opinion real quick, just to bring it back to gaming?
Yeah.
So I am not a big first-person shooter fan. I actually get dizzy and it fucks me up. So the question I have for you is, I like platformers. What is the best platformer out today? And what's a good game that I like, a good story? Like, the best game I played so far for my PlayStation is Uncharted.
Okay.
Uncharted 4.
Well, Jason, I'll let you answer this one, and I have a couple on my mind too, so I'll let you go, and you might have the same ones as me.
Actually, you start, because platformers I'm not. I mean, are you talking like 3D platformers?
Well,
2D?
Well, he says Uncharted, right? So that's the first one. So if you haven't played Last of Us, right, comes from the same company, probably one of the best games ever.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely like you're playing a movie, and it's super cheap right now. You can get The Last of Us and its expansion packs and everything probably right now, because there's a huge sale going on. You could probably get that for under $5 or maybe $10. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's got one
get yourself
stories.
Yeah,
in gaming.
Good story.
It's made by the people who did Uncharted, and the combat in it, everything's just so visceral and real. Yeah. Like, definitely put it with headphones too.
Yeah, and this game, so it's not an open roamer type game. It's not a free world, like you can go anywhere. It just like Uncharted, you're limited to a point. It really is broken down by level. Like, did you play Uncharted 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, the Thief's Destiny, and I played the newest one with the girl as the main character.
How was that one? Because I have that on my backlog, but I haven't talked to anybody who's played it.
It was a little slow starting at first, but once you get out of the first place and you go towards I think it's India, is because it's a lot of India mythology in it. Once you get over to there, it picks up really quick, and it's actually really good. You do have a little bit more freedom than the first Uncharted, where you can go around, and the puzzles are a lot bigger. So it's more the whole sandbox kind of world, where you got to solve puzzles within that sandbox to get to your next level.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a pretty good game. I liked it a lot. It's not as good as the first one I played, which was Uncharted 4, The Thief's Destiny.
Yeah, that was good.
But it does have a good story.
I'm going to take the moment to recommend definitely my like top 3 favorite games ever made, which is Hellblade. Definitely like the best story ever told through video game means, and I highly recommend. It's out for PS4. It's probably like $10 or $15 right now.
It's $30. I just
it
pulled
only
it
takes
up.
like 10 hours.
That one's $30 right now. I'm surprised. It's usually that one goes on sale a lot. So Senua's Sacrifice, is that the one?
Man, it's worth it. It is. I can't even put into words just how amazing. Definitely play with headphones, because it takes place like back in like the Viking days. But the woman you play as, like, she has psychosis, so you hear like all these voices going on in her head. Okay. Like, they're like, but it's so well done, and the story's so well done that like it's you just have to give it a shot. It's the most surreal thing I've played in gaming, and that counts for VR too. So that's just playing it straight up.
Before you tell your next 2, because you said you had 3, real quick, I'm going to plug a site called psprices.com, and I'm only plugging it because I like to go here whenever you tell me a game, or whenever I hear of a game. You can create an account, and then you can search for your game, the game you want, and then you're going to get an email when that game goes on sale. I like to only buy games when they go on sale, unless it's like something I must have. So once you do that and you get your account, you just go search for it. So I'm going to do that right now, Hellblade. And I've seen this game on sale a dozen times, but I never pulled the trigger on it because I've never heard anyone talk about it once. So I trust your judgment, and it has an 83 score, which is pretty good. And I'm going to put it on my list.
Yeah, it'll mess with you too. It's the type of game that'll like kind of screws with your head a little bit. But and then
I can't play with the kids.
No, I wouldn't play with kids around. It's not. Oh yeah, it is pretty damn violent. But it's just like I don't want to ruin the story for you, but you basically like you play as this Celtic woman who's these Vikings have raided her village and killed her lover or whatever. Yeah, but anyways, you start taking this boat up like this river with these voices in your head, and like you have your lover's or her husband's head is like in this bag, this leather bag in her satchel, and the whole point of it is you think like you're gonna go talk to Hela, which is like I guess the Viking goddess of death, and try to get him brought back to life. And, okay. But all this stuff is like going on inside your head, so you don't know what's real and what's actually like. But the way the mythology is depicted, like the Viking mythology, is just so well done, and it's just so creepy. But at the same time, like the story's just so well told. I can't really put it into words. You just have to experience it. It's
I'll give it a shot. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to put that on my list. Another one that I played recently, Horizon Zero Dawn. You can get the whole. It's called the Complete Edition, which comes with the expansion packs and stuff. This was it's like a futuristic, archaic game. It's hard to explain. It's basically like set in the future, many years in the future, and you kind of get to see some remnants of America, like distant past. It's supposed to be like thousands of years in the future. Too. And it's like using bow and arrows and stuff that you would use, before guns and all that, but with enhancements, like because it's a futuristic but archaic, if that makes any sense. And it's really fun because
Did this come out around the same time that Monster Hunter came out? I think.
No, this came out like a year before it.
This actually came out a couple of years ago, and then Monster Hunter came out and you could get the character, the girl, in Monster Hunter. Like you could use her character.
Aloy, whatever her name is.
Yeah. And the story is awesome in this one, and they have a couple of there's cameos in it of people who you have definitely witnessed in other things. Like the one I can think of. You ever watch The Wire?
Yeah,
that's right, Baltimore. But the tall black guy, the skinny guy. He's been in so many things. He was Lieutenant.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of video game stuff.
Lieutenant Daniels, and he pops up in there. Cedric Daniels. That guy. That was his name in The Wire, but what was his real name?
That's cool.
Lance Reddick.
So we got Hellblade and Horizon. What's the other two, Jason?
Oh shit!
I know.
Making me think. I'm just saying it's probably in my top.
I know one you were gonna. Oh, I thought you said you had three. Okay, so I'm gonna say one for Jason that I just started playing, and I know it's Jason's top game or one of his top games. And this is Diablo 3. You can get Diablo 3 right now pretty cheap.
Oh yeah.
Let's see how much that is. Diablo 3
just want to get
Eternal Collection is, let's say it's $60. I don't know if my pricing is off right now. There's supposed to be a huge sale going on, but I got it for like $10 or $15 or $20 the other day. Diablo 3 is a decent story, and if you've ever played the Diablo games, you'll know it's just a bloodbath type game. Definitely not like a kid game by any means, but it's a more cartoony than, say, Horizon Zero Dawn or Hellblade. It doesn't look like you're murdering humans. It just looks like you're killing monsters. And it's one of those games that makes you feel really powerful. Like you can go in a day or two and get yourself to a level where you're just wrecking everything, and you can just keep getting ultimately.
But there's a lot of depth to it too. Like there's the rifts you can go into, and like they're basically infinite levels, and it's multiplayer as well. So you can get on either online or you can do local co-op. It's
So that one's a lot of fun too.
Now with Diablo, I know I can go play and get to God mode pretty quickly. But I've always thought that Diablo was like an RPG. Am I wrong about that? Or
it is to an extent. You have a lot of abilities, and there's like infinite ways to customize your character, and that's one of the big things. It's a loot-based game. Like you're you constantly pushing yourself at a higher difficulty stuff to get better loot, like these sets of items and armor that kind of that synergize with each other and create what they call item sets that like you're constantly trying to make your character more powerful so you can do like take on harder content.
Now the game's been out for a while because it came out last console generation, and they've reimagined it or enhanced it for the newer generation. So it's a good looking game. It plays very well. One of the coolest things about this game is the load times. So in a day where say you want to go play Call of Duty, it takes 5 minutes to get into that match. If you want to play any game, it's the loading screens. Well, this one, you turn it on, get to the load screen, you select your character, and within 2 seconds, you're in the world. Your buddy wants to join you. Within 2 seconds, they click on your name, and it's like, bam, they're in next to you playing from across the country. So they've optimized this game from a technical standpoint so that it plays so good, and I'm very impressed with how it plays.
It's worth playing too, just because Diablo 4 will probably. I know some people that I have some insiders at Blizzard because the raid crew I run with, and it's most likely to be coming out early 2020.
So,
and
Ricky and Buddy, not sure if you're familiar with this, but I'm sure Jason is. So recently, Diablo 3 came out probably 2014 or 2013 or something like that. It was years ago. And for a game that a lot of people, this has been out since we were kids. And it's it's a very prominent game in the Blizzard Entertainment archives. So people have been waiting for Diablo 4 for many years, and they've been hearing rumors and this and that, and just this last month or the month before, they had a big BlizzCon event, Blizzard convention, and there was so much hype over the fact that they were about to release Diablo 4's announcement and say, we're making it, it's coming out this day or whatever, and instead, they made this huge announcement about a mobile game, a Diablo mobile game, and then everyone was like, wait, what? Is it going to be playable on console? And they're like, no, it's just going to be mobile. And they're like, doesn't everyone have phones? Why are y'all so mad about this? And everyone's like, what the fuck? We want a game to play on our systems and our computers, not a mobile game. And they're like, oh yeah, sorry. So, Jason, to your point, I'm sure they were working on Diablo 4, and I'm sure that they don't want to take, I'm sure this game was separate to the actual Diablo franchise of the console gaming. But at the same time, they couldn't come out and say that, because then you would be like, oh, well, I'm not going to get this then. I'll just wait for Diablo 4, because this isn't the Diablo I want. They want to tell you Diablo 4 is not in the books right now because they want you to come buy this and do all the microtransactions and shit.
They're testing a few things with this Diablo mobile game, too, because if you look at what it is, it's kind of like a MMO light kind of game. Uh-huh. So the next Diablo 4, I guarantee it, is going to have some sort of MMO element. I'm not saying it's going to be World of Diablo, like World of Warcraft, but it'll be kind of similar. It'll be open world like that.
Well, it should be.
I think they're going to be testing.
I think that's what everyone was hoping for Diablo 4.
Yeah, and the only thing is, how do you... that'll be kind of hard to implement. Try to think of Diablo's frantic pace, but with an environment where you have thousands of people on a server. It would be kind of
I think
hard to manage.
The graphic style of Diablo, they can beef it up a little bit, right? But you also have to remember too, by the time Diablo 4 comes out, at this point, knowing that the mobile game is the current version that they're working on, Diablo 4 is going to come out probably in the next console. So the power behind it will be better. Hopefully by then, internet will be better. Every couple of years it takes a leap. And so when you see games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and all these massive war games, I think Fortnite's a great example of... You laugh, but Fortnite's a great example of when it's not a war game, right? But it's still a lot of people all at once doing things, and you see see the defects. You see what Jason's talking about here in that the build battles and stuff. There's glitches. There's people who they don't the guns don't react how they're supposed to because it's trying to sync across everyone's platform. And at the end of these professional level games, you have 40 people in a circle the size of a penny, and their systems aren't capable of really handling that, yet there's millions of dollars on the line in real life, so they're doing it anyways, and they're not commenting on it. They're not saying, oh, our systems are fucked up. They're like, oh, that was a really cool move by that guy. He just walked right off the side. Wow, why'd he do that? And meanwhile, the guy's on his own stream on Twitch going, fuck this game. I can't believe I just lost to this fucking glitch. And so I can see what you're saying with that because, but it can be contained. It can be limited. I mean, think about like Warcraft or whatever, where there's regions, there's zones, So Diablo plays so well right now. And
so I have a question. Real quick. So with the matter of, because I'm not in the know, difficulty level, is it like Super Mario Brothers or Dark Souls level difficulty?
Diablo, or what game are you talking about?
Diablo 3.
It starts out pretty easy, and the difficulty, like, you can set, I think there's like 20 different difficulty settings, and like it scales up to whatever you're comfortable with. So you can push yourself to the point where it becomes very Dark Souls-y if you want, or you can keep it. Like my wife, it's the only game she's played on PlayStation and Platinum Trophy. She's not a gamer at all. It's very addictive.
I'll put it to you this way, right?
Like the gameplay.
There's so many options, right? So you can have easy, medium, hard, extra hard. Like I'm sure that they're named differently. Then it has like Torment 1, Torment 2, all the way up to Torment whatever, right? And each level gets so exponentially harder. They finally have a level that you could, or a style of game that you can play where you only get one life. Now, this is a game where you die consistently. Like you die, you respawn, you just keep coming back to the battle. If you're playing with somebody else, they continue to fight while you're
hardcore mode.
In a hardcore mode where it's like one life, and if you die, your game is over. And this is a long game. I mean, you can play forever.
Yeah.
So there's people who actually go through that route, and they'll create a character, get them up to like level 70 and die, and then do it again and do it. It's a good way to test out characters.
I did it. I had 6 months invested in a character, and me and my wife both. And
he died?
We perished. Got overconfident. And
how did that feel?
Because empty. I just felt like, what the
like you lost a dog.
I died and she didn't.
Oh, and then, man. Did she laugh?
Yeah, and then she died the next day.
Because you weren't there.
So
did you kill her? And be honest.
No, I didn't kill her. You can PvP in the game.
But you weren't there to save her.
No, I mean, no, I wasn't. I can't remember. I think she was living on, or she was with somebody else, like online, and I don't remember. Actually, I don't think I was home. She just texted me that, and just the very fact that she texts me anything dealing with the video game is
cool enough, right?
Odd enough. Because my wife, she's not a gamer at all, but that's just how fun and addictive that game is, though.
It is.
I think it'd be worth playing just so you get ready for Diablo 4. And then also with Diablo 3, they have these things called seasons where everyone starts back at baseline, like level 1. And so you'll be on equal footing with everyone. I think it's once every 3 months they do a new season.
Yeah, so. And you mentioned, Ricky, that it sounds like an RPG, but I got to admit that a lot of games are following this platform style. I'm sorry, even platform games are following this RPG style where you get quests and you go. Like there's fewer, even the Mario games are doing this now. There's fewer games where it's just literally a linear from left to right. You have a level, you complete the level, you go to the next level. Like I would say the closest to a platformer is Uncharted or Last of Us and things like that, because there is it's not quest driven. It's not like, hey, I can go do whatever I want. It's just left to right. You walk, you get to the end, you move to the next part of the story. Now, there's a game called Detroit Become Human. I just beat that one a couple months ago, and it's a choose your own adventure. And it's more of a movie that you play than a game. There are game elements to it, but it's one of the most beautiful games, and it's a really cool story. The baseline of it is you're one of 3 robots, and you're in the future where robots are so accepted that they basically take care of all of our mundane tasks as humans. And events happen in the game that you get to kind of dictate. So I went a certain path, and not to spoil anything, but the path I went was just kind of like people hated the robots and they wanted them gone. So it was like a revolt, humans versus robots. I believe that there's like 42 different endings to the game, and the stories are so deep that you can take it pretty much anywhere you want based off of decisions that you make, and you get to see the stats around all the decisions and everything that people are making. So definitely a really cool. What you see me over here? Yeah, that's the same. That's the same company.
It is. It's more horror theme though, but yeah.
Okay, so when you look up platform games for PlayStation 4 or whatever, you're going to get a whole lot of like kiddie style games. So the term platform kind of pulls a different genre, like Knack, for example, and Knack 2.
Like you're talking more like third-person action adventure game, though, right?
Yeah. Well, my problem with the
his skills are limited.
Yeah, I'm horrible at gaming, but with RPGs, I don't like the whole not being able to real time fight. It's like you take a turn, I take a turn, and then I have to worry about leveling up everybody.
Okay, so you need games like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, kind of. I like that, but with Assassin's Creed, there's so many freaking side missions that it kills the main story.
So don't get The Witcher. The Witcher is a game that has more side missions than you can complete, like thousands. I mean, I think it actually exponentially grows.
And I played it for 200 hours.
I beat the game, and it's an awesome game. But if to beat that game, you literally have to stop taking on side quests, because that's the type of game where the world is so big, the story is so good, and the gameplay is so fun. And it's like all of a sudden a woman comes running out of the woods, and she's like, "My baby's lost," and you're like, "Oh shit, I gotta go save this baby." And then you go save the baby, and then the baby turns into a demon and flies off into the sky, and you're like, "Well, shit, I can't stop here." So you got to go find out what the hell happened. And then you find out after 20 hours that none of that mattered to the story. None of it. And you just completely went off on this tangent.
Yeah, I would break that fucking game.
Metal Gear, I don't know. I never played the Metal Gear version, or Metal Gear Solid 5 game, but it's got a lot of good reviews. And I don't know what kind of side quests there are, but that's also a high-rated platformer type game or adventure game.
If you like tactical games, that's a lot of fun. Like it's like you have to assault a base, and you basically can like you have so many options available to you. Like you literally feel like you're like a spec ops type guy.
Here's one, Jason. You played Ratchet and Clank for the PS4, right? That was one of the ones that you were showing me on the Pro when you first got it. That is good for the kids too.
Yeah.
So
like my daughter is it now actually.
Yeah, so Ratchet and Clank, and that's an older game that they reimagined for the PS4 Pro or PS4. Looks beautiful on the Pro.
Awesome.
So, let's see, Last Guardian, Infamous, Batman. Do you ever play Arkham City?
I have it.
Okay.
I have. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. I have. Yes, I'm playing Spider-Man. I'm playing the shit out of Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, that sucked me right in.
Yeah, I think we just gave you a couple really good ones. If you want to dive deeper, you can get games like Fallout or Skyrim and things like that. They have enormous amounts of side missions and stuff, but I like to jump from game to game. So while I start all these games, I never finish them. It's very like I'll finish them a year later. Like The Witcher, I started, I didn't play it for a year and a half. I came back, played it for 6 months, amongst other games, didn't beat it, and then finally like took 2 weeks, a couple weeks later, and was like, all right, I'm just going to beat this game, get it off my list. Same with Spider-Man. I love it. It's a lot of fun, but it's easier to jump into a game of Fortnite or a game of Black Ops or whatever, especially now that I'm playing with Buddy or my buddy Joe. And there was a period of like 2 or 3 months where nobody was online, and I didn't have anybody to play with, and it was getting kind of boring. So I was playing some platformer type games, cleaning up my backlog, but in a day we're all busy. I mean, look at I know that we're spending a lot of time here now, but like the reality is we all got families, we all got things, we all got whatever. And it's like, do you have 200 hours to put into a video game? Maybe. I mean, I know I put 200 hours into video games themselves, but do I want to dedicate all that time to one? To you? You just got to make that decision. Yeah. Some games are worth it.
I mean, hold on. Let me log into World of Warcraft. I can type in /played and tell you how much time I've spent on that.
That's starting to feel like my stepbrother.
On this site, the psprices.com, you can actually see a chart for any game you put in, and it'll tell you the cheapest price it ever has been. So you can see either a game that's probably due for a sale or a game that just went on sale and you know not to buy it. So, like, because it'll probably go on sale again in the future. Like, so if you have a backlog of games, like, say you have 5 games to play, don't go buy any of the games we told you about, because if they're not on sale, because there's plenty of games on sale that you could grab that will be a better use of your time than jumping into a full price game. I'm a big believer in that, especially with the number of games that I buy. I have an enormous library, but I tend to build it only when it's economical.
That's smart.
Yeah.
It was very hard for me not to pull the trigger on Just Cause 4 because I love Just Cause 3. That's a hell of a game. That's a good one, actually. Just Cause 3 is probably cheap right now as well. And not a ton of side missions, but that's one where you just go in and you feel like a king. I mean, it's a quest-based, it's a open world. You fly around the map with rocket launchers and guns. But it has a decent story to it. And you're liberating an island of the bad guys. It's $5.99 right now, and it is so worth it. It's so worth $5.99, even just for 20 minutes of getting in there and blowing shit up. It's got some of the greatest graphics. And Just Cause 3. Just Cause 4 just came out, but that's $60. And a lot of people are saying that it's not much different than Just Cause 3. It's not. So I'll wait for Just Cause 4 to go down in price. Probably $30. I'll buy it. But at $6, Just Cause 3 is a steal.
Oh my God. Guess how many hours I have in the world. Oh, Jesus. I feel terrible now.
Let me get a calculator here so I can figure out how many days it is. Tell me.
No, just guess.
Guess. I'm going to say 1,100.
This is over the course of 13 years.
Oh, geez. Okay. 13
but I did take a 7-year break, so I didn't play it for 7 years. So
this is hard.
That's a lot of time.
Hard to imagine. I'm going to say, I'm probably going to be way off here, but 1,150.
Hours or days?
Oh, gee.
Hold on, what?
It's 13 years, Kevin. 13 years.
That's a lot of time, dude.
Nah, total time played, 165 days, 8 hours, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. That comes
165
out,
days.
That's almost a whole year, dude.
That's like 4,200 hours.
Yeah,
wow.
That's a lot of hours, man.
My ass is numb thinking about it.
Jesus.
I could have gotten like 2 college degrees.
Jeez. Oh, man. So one other thing I got to plug here, I do it every week, and people probably are sick of it because I haven't heard anyone reach out to me and say that they're in on it yet. But the PlayStation VR, right? There's a lot of games that are...
Are you going to get that tattooed to your head?
I am.
Please.
Rick,
dude, if I had the money, I'd get it.
Yeah, so there's a game that just came out a couple months ago called Astrobot. And in my opinion, it meets every standard that you just talked about. And it's basically Mario, but with a robot instead of Mario. And it actually plays really cool because of the VR element. So you have to look around corners, truly duck when you're walking under things. And
so how much is this VR that we're talking about?
$700.
How much?
No. It just went on sale for $199 with like the bundle package, and it came with 2 games. I'm sure that will happen again. That was a Black Friday type special. But I think $299 will get you in with the bundle package, and it comes with a camera, a controller, 2 of those Move controllers, and all that stuff.
And how much? Realistically, how much room do I need to work with this VR?
Well, I'm
like
in a
12 feet by 18 feet.
Say again?
No, you don't
that much.
No, you don't need that much.
Just like, what is it? You can do most of the games just.
I think I'm in a 12 by 12 room. Yeah, as long as the camera, you have to be 3 to 5 feet away from your camera at least, and if you're too far away, the tracking kind of gets a little crazy. At the beginning, the tracking was tough; like it would wander, so you'd have to reset it all the time. But that's gotten a lot better. But I would say like if you have a 10 by 10 bedroom that this thing is in, and there's a bed and stuff, and it's crammed, that might not be the best environment. But in any living room, depending on the game, like Jason said, a lot of them you can just sit there and play. Most of them you can sit there and play with a controller. But there are games like Beat Saber that just came out, which is like a rock band style. You got lightsabers, and you're swinging at blocks, and they're coming at you like rock band notes, and you got to hit them at the right angle or whatever. That game is, it sounds basic. It's one of the funnest games that you can play, and you exercise while you do it. So it's fun, and people are truly losing weight playing this game. And there's a couple of other ones just like that. There's one called To the Top, which is you can race against other people or just by yourself, and you're basically climbing virtual mountains. And you literally have to climb fast and beat your record and stuff. So you're sitting there in your room, like swinging your arms like a maniac, and at the end of it, you're sweating. I mean, you're really sweating. Same with Sprint Vector. You have to run, and to run faster, you have to swing your arms side to side, like like running in place. And so, in any of these games, there are tricks. So if you're like handicapped and you can't move your shoulders, there's ways to flick your wrists and do this without making getting a sweat. But to have fun with it, Another really cool one is the boxing games. So they have two. They have Knockout League, and then they have Creed. The actual, it's like licensed by the Rocky franchise. And
now with the Creed stuff, this is what I wanted to ask you too.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are the mechanics with the VR? Because if I throw like 2 jabs, is it going to register just one, or is it going to?
No, it's good. Yeah, believe it or not,
okay.
It's way better than you would expect it to be. It's not perfect.
Because
we used to have
the evolution of it. You talk about Nintendo when you had the running pad, and then Sega when you had the Sega ring, and you kick in the ring, and then just recently with the Kinect with Xbox 360.
Yep.
All those fighting games fucking suck.
So
they're horrible. The mechanics are off.
Compared to all of those, this is night and day. And a great, I don't know if you heard it, but Jeremy was on, my brother was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and he's not a big gamer by any means, but he did play VR. I brought it to his house a year ago to show him, and he had a really good way to put it. He said, people who've been waiting for VR, this is it. Okay, there might be better iterations of it. There's going to be obviously a version 2 of the PlayStation VR, but we have made it to the point that we've been waiting for. When you get into the VR headset, yes, it's bulky, right? Yes, there's a lot of cables. Yes, the controls can be a little bit better. Those are the things you fine tune, but the quality of like the way that they're building the games is no longer. There's a lot of videos on like YouTube. You can do a VR in YouTube, for example, or whatever. And what they do is they take a 360 camera, and when you walk around in these environments, you're just moving the 360 camera around. You're not truly manipulating the environment around you. Well, in the PlayStation VR games, you're in the environment. It is not a 360 camera. You are literally, you feel like you're inside of these worlds. Some of them don't look good. Some of them don't, the developers didn't do a good job, so it's less immersive. But Jason, think about Thumper, right? Here's a game that doesn't need to be in VR. You can play Thumper on your PlayStation right now, but in VR, you're in this world. You're playing this game. It's just it feels different because your mind.
Games like that and Skyrim VR like that. That's I only played it for 2 hours. It's my favorite VR experience just because being in like an actual world like that in VR, you actually I remember I spent 5 minutes. I just went underneath the waterfall in the game, and I just was looking around it just because it with the sound and everything. Because you have 3D audio with it as well. It comes with the VR unit, and
when you turn your head, the sounds come from the direction they're supposed to. So
there's some. It's legit.
It is.
Now, how does this compare with Oculus?
It's better.
It's better. Yeah. So a lot of people have both, and the technical details are the pixel density within the headset of the PlayStation VR is better, so you get less of a screen door effect. Now, when you hear that term, you're going to think, oh, it's going to be really bad. But no, on any of the devices, it's not bad. You can see it if you choose to, but you can also let your eyes focus to a point where it doesn't impact anything at all.
Once you start playing a game, you don't really notice it.
Yeah. Now on the Oculus and the Vive, I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I don't have them to test, but I believe that the blacks can be a little darker there. And so on the PlayStation, jeez, come on now.
Yeah, what are you talking about here?
You think we're not going to let that softball go? You're out of your mind.
Hey. I don't know if you've heard, but I'm riding 9% right now, okay? I'm 9% Nigerian.
Oh, yeah. You're trying to be.
Yeah, you're
just because you got bad credit doesn't mean anything.
Holy shit. Oh my god. So I lost my train of thought. Okay, so yeah, the when you're in the headset and something's supposed to be pitch black, it's not always some of the games do it better than others, and I'm sure it's how they present the whites and the other colors than it is how the blacks feel in the headset. But
so the whites are better than the blacks.
This is going to be taken out of. Someone's going to snip this and take it so out of context. I love everybody. I love all the colors. So, anyways, you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
There's a little bit
I definitely get what you're saying.
Give and take in each of them. But behind the Vive and the Rift, you have your computer making a lot of the decisions. So it's based off of how good your computer is. Whereas the PlayStation is a consistent experience across every game because they require the games that make it to the PlayStation Store to meet certain criteria, such as it has to have certain safety precautions like blinders or the ability to have point turning or smooth turning. Basically, there's some things that can reduce the amount of motion sickness that you could get. And believe me, there are really heavy side effects to playing some VR if you're not used to it, or it impacts some people worse than others. And I got a hit of motion sickness that was so bad it lasted 2.5 days, where it was like I felt like I was out of sorts. But I don't know why, but it was a specific part of a specific game that once I was out of that game and did a different thing, it didn't happen. So I believe that there are design elements that these developers are using. And let's be real here. Motion sickness is coming from a feeling, right? And so the feeling is your brain saying, I don't feel comfortable here. Well, it's something's happening. Even if it looks good, something's happening where your brain is seeing something it doesn't expect to see, and you get a little dizzy. And I think it set my equilibrium off or something. And something wasn't right. And I literally felt like sick to my stomach for 2 days. It was Riggs, by the way, Jason.
I remember that experience.
Yeah, that the very beginning, like when you play the game Riggs, it's this Mech Warrior Call of Duty / football game. It's really weird. You're the ball, and if you can get yourself through the hoop in the middle, then you score a point. But you're also shooting everybody, and they're trying to shoot you, and so you can get killed and get points that way too, or kill and get points that way.
Good Lord!
Now they have a demo area, like a training area, and the training facility that you go into looks like an arena, but it's not the same exact arena that you go play the actual games in. It's just a facility to go jump around and get the mechanics down. And I don't know. I mean, that facility that I was in, I felt like I was going to just throw up sitting right here. And then you go into the regular game, and it's so much faster paced, and there's things flying everywhere, and you can jump 30 feet in the air, and then when you start to fall, you truly feel in your gut that you're falling from 30 feet in the sky. Like, you're like, whoa, you get that whole thing. But that didn't make me sick to my stomach. That other area did.
Now, remember when we first started this game of conversation, I get fucked up on first-person shooters. So I can only imagine what's going to happen when I throw on a fucking headset.
And this is the conversation I have with Joe all the time, because Joe's played a couple games, and he felt, only 2 or 3, but he felt sick to his stomach playing them. A lot of the experiences and a lot of the games have a zero motion sickness, because the motion sickness comes when you're moving around an environment. And they built a lot of these games to be, and there's so many. There's 200 or 300 games now available. I'd say a majority of them, you're stationary, and the things around you move, as opposed to you moving throughout the environment. So you can pick and choose your battles. If you jump into Skyrim, you might get motion sickness because you're walking through a world, and that world may not come at you like your brain thinks it should. So you're going to feel weird. But you're playing Astrobot, it's just a left to right scroller, and you're not moving. You don't feel any motion sickness.
As long as it's awesome. Where you're, like, I think one of the reasons a lot of people get motion sickness for first-person shooters on the TV is just because they're turning their character with their thumbsticks, but they're not moving their head. So it kind of, it doesn't feel natural. But, like, when VR, like, you turn, like, how you look around as you turn your head. So it's more natural, and it might actually be easier for you.
Yeah, there's one game where you have to
That's a good point.
To like defend yourself or whatever, and you find out that your reflexes in your head are so much faster than your hands. You can be so much more precise with your head and your neck at a quicker speed than you can. Oh, it's like driving games, for example. The driving games don't make you too sick. Drive Club, not Drive. Which one's the one with the dirt? Okay, there's a game called Dirt Rally, and Dirt Rally is this like you're going down side of the mountain. Cliffs, it's bumpy, it's all over the place, you're taking 90-degree turns and stuff like that. That game gets you motion sickness, but in a different way. It's like motion sickness like if you were in a car doing this, and you're like, whoa, okay, this is uneasy. It's not like the motion sickness that people talk about where it's an impairment that the VR imposes in your brain. There's 2 different feelings, and they're the same idea, but they definitely feel different. One of them gives you kind of this weird headache. The other one is just like, that was weird. Like, that was a roller coaster. Now, Drive Club and Wipeout these are racing games, and I hate racing games, but in VR, you have to look left or right if you want to turn that direction because you're going to be going that way. And it's it feels like you're really driving a car, and you can drive them as fast as you want. The Wipeout is this virtual racing game that's really fun, and it feels so good in VR. And you're going like 300 miles an hour, and you really feel like you're going 300 miles an hour, up walls, doing circles and loops and everything. That game's pretty cheap, and it's a lot of content, and it does. I did not get 1 ounce of motion sickness in that game, and I thought for sure after playing that I'd be sitting there on the toilet throwing up, but no way. It didn't. It was built right. So I you know what I'm gonna say? I'll say you and Buddy get in the car, take a road trip, come on down, stay with me for a couple of days, play till your heart's content on the VR, and you'll make a decision after that if you want to spend the money on it. But I'd love to have you down here anyway, so that's just my suggestion.
Oh yeah, I would too. But remember, where I go, the 2 youngins come too.
Bring them, man. Bring them.
Go to Disney World or whatever it's called down there.
What'd you say, bud?
You're in Florida, you might as well go to Disney World, Orlando, Florida, all that shit.
Yeah, but now you're
they
talking.
Like live at Disney World, don't you?
No, I'm talking about your kids. Your kids.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
See, it's easy when you live in Florida. You get these. Well, it's not easy, but you get discounts and stuff. Like the Florida discount for Florida is pretty significant because they want you coming back and spending the money. They know you're going to come back 5 times a year, 6 times a year, and pay for the hotels or the food, and so they'll give you a huge discount. Kind of like if you stay in Vegas, a lot of the hotels you can get a Vegas hotel for like, or I don't know about now, but back then $20 because they want you in their hotel spending the money. Disney does the same thing for locals, so it's not cheap by any means, but you can do like a 3 or 4 day deal for $99, and so that's $25 a day to go to Disney per person. But if you want to go buy a ticket right now from an out of state, it's like $180. It's stupid. So
yeah, it's ridiculous. But hey guys,
we're getting late.
Kind of going a little long, and we got to get out of here. I got to get up in like maybe 4 hours for work.
I'm with you.
Same.
But yeah, I only have like 7 or 8 more games to talk about. So real quick, let's just. No, I'm just kidding. No, we could talk all day. I always try to say that we're only going to take a little bit of time, and then we have a good conversation. It goes on forever. So we'll leave it at that, man. Ricky, Buddy, you guys can definitely be heard at MMA Marks or MMA_Marks on Instagram and Twitter. Also, MMA Marks on most podcast platforms. It's starting to spread out to all of them. They're only on episode 4, going on episode 5 right now, and I listen to them not just because they're my cousins, but because they actually provide really high quality content and discussion about MMA. These guys know what they're talking about. When they say at the beginning of this call or this conversation that they've lived this, you can hear it when they talk about it. It's not just, oh, this is fun and that's whatever. When I'm talking about WWE right now, you can tell I don't know my shit anymore. I used to, but I don't know everybody. These guys know all the details. They're studying this stuff. And these it's actually a bit different than like Ariel Helwani or whatever, where obviously he knows what he's talking about, but the content he's providing is way different. These two are putting out the details of the matches, of what you're looking for, and what you thought about years ago. Like, what do you remember from MMA? What made you happy? Like, it's good stuff. So you guys are doing an awesome job. I'm glad you guys are doing the podcast. I hope people start subscribing and listening.
I'll definitely check it out too.
Yeah,
I do legitimately want to get into it. I just I need that group, the camaraderie to get it. I just can't do it myself.
Absolutely,
you guys want a podcast at any time, man. I'd
love to join you over there. One of the things I was going to say is just to remind people, check out the Instagram MMA_Marks and do the Fight Pass. Jason, try that out. Like, I've been doing it, and I'm not doing too good, but I don't know these guys, and so the more you do it, you're going to see these guys start popping back up. And if you do it to the point where you're looking them up, you'll definitely start learning about them. And a quick wiki, all you have to do is type their name and then wiki, and in Google, and you'll get all their fight history and everything, and learn about them. So
SureDog's a better site for that.
What's that?
SureDog.
Oh yeah, SureDog is.
It's a better website for that. You want to use that instead of wiki.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I like wiki just because you can.
You guys.
It's cleaner. Like, you can just collapse everything and see their fight record and like the last 15 fights. SureDog kind of I don't know, feels bloated, but
You can literally read a play-by-play on that fight.
So,
well, I'll tell you what, man. We really do appreciate you having us on this podcast, and you guys are, well, yeah. I know Jason, you've only been doing it a couple times, but I know Kevin has definitely got the gaming thing down. He's got it on lock. I know I've been telling all my guys at work that do gaming and everything to check it out, and I hope you guys blow up just as quickly as us. If we do, I mean, you guys have been doing it way quicker, way better than us. You guys, like the technical side of it, helping me out just to get this portion of it to call in and everything. You guys
you
are
got
awesome.
Buddy over there, man.
We really do.
He's got the social media aspect part of it down. I don't have it. I don't have the time for it. Like mentally, I'm just like, well, I don't have the lingo or nothing. I feel so old. But Buddy's over here killing it with like just getting in.
Well, I didn't know how Discord worked. I still don't really know how it works.
Yeah, Discord seems like magic to me, man. There's some stuff that they can do, like integrating with games and stuff. That it's just
it's the main thing. When I play Warcraft, it's what people use for that. Like
so Jason,
it overlays games and everything really well.
I want to thank you as well, taking another 2 hours out of your, or 2.5, 3 hours out of your night. I know you got a lot of Warcraft to play and missions to complete. But thank you, man, for taking the time. It's always good to talk to you, and I think we're gonna be doing this more often. Like I said, you're always welcome on any of these shows. The Sunday show.
We should do reviews sometime.
Yeah, I need to get into that too. I need to do a better job of reviewing the games, but also I think we should review some of the, like, you guys should not to keep this going. I'll end it here, but you guys should also like give your final opinion, final score for the shows, like the fights. Like this card was a A+ or a B or whatever, and you kind of keep track of that, because then you could remember, like, hey, remember UFC 220? That was an A. Like that was a lot of good fights. But I don't know, just an idea, man. Just an idea. And we're gonna do that for like WWF type stuff and games too. So
start Sunday with
TLC, baby.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Down.
And also,
awesome.
You don't have to do this, but you're welcome. I can set you guys up for an account on my site if you wanted to, on the Backlog Exposed, and you could write up, if you want to physically write up reviews of the MMA events and stuff, you're welcome to, but I don't know if you want to go that route. You can catch our stuff at backlogexposed.com. Jason, you have anything you want to plug or talk about or say before we wrap it up?
Nope. Nothing for me, so awesome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Backlog Exposed. Check out MMA Marks. And until next time, I'm Kevin. That's Ricky. That's Buddy. And that's Jason. And we are the Backlog Exposed.